You've probably never been told this, but there are subtle cracks in the armor of your spirit. Behaviors that, over time, erode your inner strength and project an image of profound weakness. What if I told you that the very things you do to cope, to connect, or to simply exist might be silently screaming to the world that you are? In fact, mentally fragile, most people walk through life completely unaware of these self-inflicted wounds, wondering why they feel adrift, why respect eludes them, or why their inner peace remains just out of reach. This isn't about judgment, it's about revelation. By the end of this journey, you will see yourself and the world with new eyes. You will understand the silent language of true strength and learn to shed the habits that betray your potential. This isn't a quick fix. It's a profound shift in perspective, a path to reclaiming your mental fortitude and commanding the respect you deserve. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover could fundamentally change the trajectory of your life. The first behavior that quietly screams mental weakness is the relentless pursuit of external validation. Think of the man who constantly posts his achievements online, not for the joy of sharing, but for the desperate craving of likes and comments. Or the woman who changes her opinions to fit the crowd, her voice a chameleon, never truly her own. This isn't connection, it's a plea. When your sense of worth is tethered to the fleeting approval of others, you become a ship without a rudder, tossed by every wave of public opinion. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, understood this deeply when he wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." True strength isn't found in the applause of strangers, but in the quiet, unwavering conviction of your own integrity. Once you lose that internal compass, the next thing that begins to fray is your ability to stand firm. This leads us to the second behavior, the inability to say no. Imagine the person who overcommits, who takes on every request, every favor, every burden, until they are crushed under the weight of obligations that aren't truly theirs. They fear disappointing others, fear conflict, fear being seen as unhelpful. But here's the truth. A yes born of fear is a no to your own well-being, your own time, your own peace. Epictetus taught us, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When you cannot set boundaries, you become a doormat, and the world, sensing this weakness, will walk all over you. Saying no is not selfish. It is an act of self-preservation, a declaration of your own worth and the value of your time. And when you constantly bend to the will of others, you inevitably fall into the trap of the third behavior, perpetual victimhood and blame. Consider the individual who, no matter the challenge, always finds an external culprit, the economy, their boss, their parents, fate itself. They narrate their life as a series of misfortunes inflicted upon them, never taking ownership, never seeking solutions within. This isn't resilience, it's surrender. It's a refusal to acknowledge your own agency, your own power to respond. The Stoics understood that while we cannot control external events, we always control our perception and our response. To constantly blame is to abdicate your power, to declare yourself a helpless pawn in a game you refuse to play. It's a profound mental weakness, for it denies the very essence of human freedom, the freedom to choose your attitude. Once you've surrendered your agency, the next thing that withers is your ability to face discomfort. This brings us to the fourth behavior, the avoidance of necessary discomfort and difficult conversations. Think of the person who constantly distracts themselves with entertainment, who avoids confronting a difficult truth in a relationship, or who postpones a challenging task until it becomes an insurmountable mountain. They seek comfort above all else, mistaking ease for peace. But growth, true growth, lives on the other side of discomfort. Seneca wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." When you consistently shy away from the hard conversations, the uncomfortable truths, the challenging work, you are signaling to yourself and to the world that you lack the fortitude to face reality head-on. This avoidance creates a fragile inner world, easily shattered by the slightest tremor. And when you cannot face reality, you often resort to the fifth behavior, excessive complaining and negativity. Observe the person whose every conversation is a litany of grievances: the weather, the traffic, the news, their colleagues. They see problems everywhere, but solutions nowhere. This isn't merely a bad mood. It's a corrosive habit that poisons their own spirit and repels those around them. Is a mental weakness because it focuses all energy on what is wrong rather than what can be done. It's a refusal to find gratitude, to seek opportunity, or to simply accept what cannot be changed. A strong mind understands that energy is finite and chooses to direct it towards constructive action or quiet acceptance, rather than endless, fruitless lamentation. Once negativity takes root, it often leads to the sixth behavior, the inability to control one's emotional reactions. Picture the individual who explodes in anger at a minor inconvenience, or who crumbles into despair at a setback, or who is easily manipulated by flattery or fear. Their emotions are a wild horse, untamed and unpredictable, dictating their every move. This isn't passion, it's a lack of self-mastery. The Stoics were not emotionless. They were masters of their emotions. They understood that while feelings arise, our response to them is a choice. Don't let your imagination be crushed by the weight of what you don't have. Marcus Aurelius advised, when your emotions control you, you are a slave to circumstance, a puppet of your own inner turmoil. True mental strength lies in the calm, deliberate pause between stimulus and response, the space where wisdom resides. Finally, and perhaps most subtly, the seventh behavior that betrays mental weakness is the constant need for external stimulation and distraction. Think of the person who cannot sit in silence, who always needs background noise, who scrolls endlessly through social media, or who jumps from one fleeting pleasure to another. They are terrified of their own thoughts, their own company, their own inner world. This isn't curiosity, it's an escape. It's a profound mental weakness because it signifies an inability to confront oneself, to process one's own experiences, or to simply be present. A strong mind finds solace in solitude, clarity in quiet reflection, and wisdom in the depths of its own being. When you constantly seek external noise, You are running from the very source of your power. True strength isn't loud, it's quiet. It's not about never falling, but about rising with unwavering resolve. It's not about controlling the world, but about mastering yourself. The path to mental fortitude is not paved with quick fixes, but with deliberate, consistent self-work. It's about choosing ownership over blame, courage over comfort, and inner peace over external validation. Take a moment, now, in the quiet of your own space. Reflect on these behaviors. Where do you see yourself? This isn't a condemnation, but an invitation. An invitation to shed the weight of what makes you weak and to step into the profound, quiet power that has always resided within you. The journey begins with awareness and continues with the courageous choice to live with intention, to build an inner fortress that no external storm can breach. If this spoke to your soul, subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. I'll see you in the next one.